She's been raised on the trails. Okay, let's have everyone go and then.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Mackenzie, Nancy, and leading the way first. I'm going to talk to Tina for a moment.
Okay, so Tina has a flat hat.
And yeah, you're saying she might be injured. I think she forgot.
Say if you don't want to do it.
Okay. The third
All right. Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
You don't need to lean into it. You can just talk as normal. It'll catch you. Okay, so we're at a group run. Can you tell us where we are and what we're doing right now?
We're in the foothills of Salt Lake City, running on a trail called the Bonneville Shoreline Trail, and we're here for the May Out Trails group run.
Okay, and for someone who may not know, what is Out Trails?
Out Trails is a community of queer LGBTQ identifying individuals and allies, and it's a community for people to get together and enjoy each other's company on trails. And so we have group runs every month in a couple cities, and we put on some other programming events.
What are the other cities?
Seattle and Salt Lake right now, and some Denver and San Francisco forthcoming.
Cool. And by just curiosity, who is the founder of Out Trails?
That would be me.
And what prompted you to do that?
I think number one, selfishly for me, I want more community of queer people and more people like myself to run with. I identify as queer, and I think that's just someone to orchestrate a meetup was like something I was personally craving. So instead of waiting for someone else to do it, I decided to do it myself.
I love that. And one more question, and I'll let you get on, and I'll start meeting some of the other runners. For someone who's like, okay, but you, Ryan, are a professional ultra runner, professional trail runner. How am I I can't go to your group run. What would you say there?
Can you say that again?
Like for someone who's thinking, well, you're a professional, I can't go to your trail run because I can't keep up with you. What would you say?
Yeah, well, I think the way we've designed these group runs is to be no drop runs, meaning that everyone who comes will have someone to run with and you won't be alone. And it's designed to be incredibly accessible, so people of all abilities can get out on the trails. And yeah, we've had a lot of first-time trail runners show up, and they have a great time. And it's maybe the first time they've gone, 3-4 miles on a trail, but they always walk away feeling supported because there's other people bringing them along.
Thank you. And so if people want to find out more about Out Trails, where should they go?
Just our Instagram, just out_trails on Instagram.
And I will refer people back to the episode I did with you a few years ago if they want to learn more or follow you on Instagram. Probably better, actually. And I'm going to go meet some other people. So
okay, amazing.
Enjoy. I'll see you soon.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. All right, you're right behind me.
Hello.
Hi. I have forgotten your name.
Justin.
Justin.
Okay,
this is going to be, I'm not great with names. Okay, Justin. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and maybe what led you to this moment here right now?
Yeah.
Being at this run.
I started running, or trail running, I guess, about 5 years ago when I turned 30. Just as a way to stay in shape and accomplish some goals. I actually volunteered at a Ragnar. And
out of the blue?
Well, yeah, kind of. I was dating someone at the time. We're married now.
Oh, okay.
But I volunteered because she was running, and I just kind of saw the diversity of different ages and different body types of people doing it. And I was like, oh, maybe I could do this. So I started and really liked it. And then I guess 5 years later, I'm working on doing ultras and more races and just kind of more and more.
And what is coming to these runs meant to you?
It's great just to have a sense of community with other runners, specifically queer runners.
Yep.
It's been really nice. So I'm excited to keep going more and just like have a space.
Yeah, I love that. And you said you were training for ultras. What does that look like for you? What are the plans?
So I'm signed up to do a Black Loop Ragnar in November in California,
Okay.
which I guess is like an ultra junior.
What does that mean?
So it's like the length of like a 50K but split up over 2 days.
Oh, is that what it's called? An ultra junior.
Well, that's what I'm calling it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was going to say I've never heard that term before. Okay. So and that's
That'll be the first attempt
Yeah.
before a straight 50K.
and do you have the 50K?
Not really. I've been looking at the Antelope Island races,
Okay.
possibly the Salt Flats, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay, where are those? Because I'm not from around here.
Oh, okay.
So we learn
So
local
Antelope Island, they do
Okay.
ultras in the spring and the fall. It's kind of up near northern Salt Lake, that area. And then the Salt Flats do like a 50K and a 100-miler and a 100K.
Okay.
I think those happen in the fall,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So that's a good amount of time to get you to do the junior, as you call it, and then
Yes.
and then go on and prep for the full thing.
Hopefully, pending no surprise injuries pop up.
Yeah, always. Is there anything else you want to share about your journey?
Wait, I don't think so. That's a lot of pressure.
Well, sometimes people have like something that like, I don't know, is an important moment or a reason they're doing it. You've kind of given that already, but so just wanted to give you the space if there was something.
I'm good. Thank you for the space.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Justin, and enjoy the rest of the run.
You too.
I'm gonna come back here and are you comfortable talking?
Oh, yeah,
Hi, can you I'm never gonna remember everyone's names.
that's
So,
all right. I'm working on it too. I'm Johnny.
Johnny, okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And do you wanna tell me about some things that led you to this moment here right now? Whatever you wanna share about your journey.
Yeah, so I've been in Salt Lake for about like a year and a half-ish.
Okay. From where before?
I'm from Michigan originally,
Oh, okay.
and then was living in DC right before moving out here.
Okay. Wait,
I've
sorry, I
always-
have to ask, where in Michigan?
Near Detroit.
Okay, I went to Ferris State.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know where that is.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I like got introduced to trail running while I was still in college in Michigan, and then kind of like found my way towards like longer and longer distances. And so DC's awesome city, but not quite as easy to like get to trails. So found myself a job out here so I could like explore the mountains more.
So it was kind of because of this that you moved out here?
In part, I had like a good job opportunity also,
Yeah, okay.
but it was like I've never been to Utah before I signed the job offer, and my friend was just like, "You'll like it. There's lots of outdoor stuff." So, yeah, a little bit of a leap of faith.
And was it like you got the job offer and then you were like, oh, that's a cool place? Or was it like this was one of the places you were thinking, so you looked for jobs here?
It's mostly a friend who like found a job out here and was trying to tell me that I would really like Utah.
Ah, right.
So that's kind of how I found myself out here. And as I've been like getting into running and getting into trail running and ultras, obviously found Ryan's name coming up, and just because how involved he is with the like ultra community and the career community, and then just via Instagram, I like saw the group, and like I've seen it for a while, and I just keep forgetting. Like I'm really bad at like remembering to come to
This
things.
is your first time.
This is my first time where I actually made it out.
And so you said about doing ultras and you know working your way up. Where are you now with your
So,
running?
the longest I've done it just is a 50K.
Okay.
And then this August, my first 50 miler.
Okay.
So, yeah, both kind of excited and nervous about that.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I got roped into doing some like triathlon just by some friends who are really into that. So like kind of have been focusing on that a little more the past year or two.
Okay. And is that because you were like burned out on running, or you just wanted to keep changing it up?
It was more of like I have a really hard time saying no when people are like, come do this race with me.
Oh, okay.
So it was like...
boundaries are what we need to work on with you.
Probably. So yeah, one friend was like, oh, I'm going to do like a half Ironman. So we did Blue Ridge back in 2021. And it was the first year they had that race. So it was a smaller pool in Virginia.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh,
So,
Blue Ridge Mountain.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
All right, got it.
Super pretty race. You like ride right along the ridge line.
Yep.
But because it was a smaller race, I somehow qualified for my age group for Worlds.
Oh, wow.
And so then I was like, well, I guess I got to do like another one. So kind of been more focused on that.
Yep.
And then now kind of getting back into more of the running side.
Cool. That is, yeah. I love that you're keeping changing it up because we often get like stuck in things and then it's hard to step out of that and go do something different. So I love that you're keeping it going.
It's been super easy to do it out here just because like there's people who want to go climb, there's people who want to go ski, and so like I sometimes have to like remind myself that like, oh yeah, like you spent all day skiing, like you don't have to go do a run, like you were still active today. But
and what have you thought of as Ryan? He's one of my best friends, so we talk often, but he's shared about the winter and how it's what it's like here in Utah. So how have you found the Utah winter?
Well, I know some people complain about like the snow and the cold, but I'm also from Michigan, so like
that's true.
It's been totally fine there.
Yeah, that's true.
And the snow's like, I think it's way nicer out here because like you get the snow and the cold, but it's also sunny.
Yeah, it gets warm in the daytime.
It's sunny, it's pretty, there's great skiing, whereas like Michigan is just like gray and snowy and like sad.
I know that all too well.
Yeah. It's like 6 months of like just sad.
Yes, that's pretty. When so two things. One, I live in St. Louis, and so people are like, oh, how do you find the winter? And I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then two, when I left Michigan after I graduated, I drew a line at the bottom of it. And I said to my now husband, at the time boyfriend, we are going south.
Yeah, no,
like,
I'm not going north of there.
I'm done with this state. I don't want to go. I'm done with the snow like this. I think I could handle something like this where, it might be snowy, but then the next day it warms up to 50 or something like that,
Yeah, and like I think people are out here are like active enough that like it packs down the trails so like you can still run in the winter and like
exactly.
Yeah, it's overall been good. Although I will say like this year it like kept snowing in April, like kept having more snowstorms, and I was kind of like, all right, that's enough of this. Like,
yeah, I could see that being the case when you're ready to be done with it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
And I hope you continue to enjoy it here. And thank you for your journey.
Of course.
I'm gonna ask these two if they're up for it.
I told her like, I'm not gonna quit. Because 50's my longest distance. So if I'm gonna DNF, it's because I pulled my ass off the course.
Can I interrupt you both and talk to either both of you at the same time or one at a time?
Sure.
Okay, so anyone want to volunteer to go first?
You had a great story.
Okay.
Oh man, no.
Yeah, come on then. Okay, tell me your name and a little bit about you. To start, or whatever you want to share of your journey to this moment right now.
Whoa. That's pretty deep.
Okay, I can start with a softball if you want.
No,
yeah, what led you to
you're gonna have to edit out all the heavy breathing.
No, I will not. It is part of it. People love the heavy breathing because, when you run with people, you do hear their breathing. So why would you want to edit it out,
That's so true.
Because we're right next to you. We can hear you breathing, but we're not thinking, God, stop breathing.
Yeah, but that's not preserved forever,
Yeah.
Unless you have a really particular memory.
No, I promise you it's not.
But you can't go back and listen to the heavy breathing later.
Yeah. I will say when people say they listen to, like when I do it solo, and they say they listen to it while they're doing chores or something, I'm like, that's a bit weird because you're listening to me going... Well, you're just like walking around your house,
washing the dishes.
Like, whereas when you're running, you're used to hearing other people breathing. Okay, so you got to get to your story now. We're going down the hill, so you got no excuse.
Okay.
Whatever you want to share.
My name is Mackenzie.
Yep.
I live in Park City, Utah. And right now we're doing an Out Trails group run,
Yep.
which is like we're keeping things going after this retreat that we did.
Yep. Oh, you went to the retreat.
Yeah.
Yep. Great.
I was there.
Yep.
Pushed myself really hard, but I don't actually know where the turnoff is, so
Oh, okay.
we might get. Do you know where we're going? Okay.
Are we going up there?
We're gonna go up to the ravine.
Okay. Right.
I feel like we gotta go like in.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay. Anyways.
I was at the retreat.
Yep.
It was a lot of miles, but I find that it can be easier to push yourself to your limit if you're feeling safe otherwise. If the rest of your hierarchy of needs is spoken for.
Speaking of which, if we need to walk because we're going up this steep thing, then we don't have to be running this thing. So where, can I ask, where were you at, like, before you went to Out Trails? Like, were you, the retreat, were you, you ran, like, what was your, you said about pushing yourself, but where were you at before that?
Okay, so
I was summer high school. I swam in college. I didn't swim.
last summer, 2022, was really my first time doing any kind of real running in like a decade. And I was like scheduled to have these life-saving, gender-confirming, and affirming surgeries.
3 times a week I go.
But I was a heavy smoker, and you gotta quit smoking
Oh, really?
2 months before surgery.
Okay.
Because it thins your blood.
And swimming combo, so like.
And the best way I could make myself quit is by running.
Per second.
And now I just keep doing it. So
And so was it kind of, you were able to quit smoking like pretty, I don't want to say easily because I'm sure it wasn't easy, but like
Try to do some like
the
running.
last thing that you want
but
after
biggest problem is I'm like pretty burnt out from swimming.
a several mile
Don't train through
trail run is a cigarette. You know,
I feel like swimming
it's not appealing to us. So
it's like I think it's the same thing.
to keep myself going, I picked a race. I did the Speed Goat 50K.
Isn't that supposed to be one of the hardest races?
That's what they keep telling me.
Wait, so you've done this, or this was...
I did that last summer.
Okay, yeah. I swear tons of people said to me, like, don't do that race, it's one of the hardest ones. So you picked quite a race.
It is super difficult.
Yeah.
And I would say that's why you should do it.
Okay, fair point. Yep.
I kind of fall in the camp of anything worth doing, it's going to test you, at least a little.
And so you jumped over all the other distances and went straight to a
So,
50K.
well, I ran a road marathon in Denver 10 years ago.
Okay.
But after a decade of not doing any kind of exercise, except for a summer working on the Pikes Peak Railroad, I skipped over all the distances and went straight to
Amazing.
one of the harder 50Ks, at least
As one does.
at least in the lower 48.
Yeah.
like rebuilding, but I've never been.
Yeah, wow, impressive work. And thank you for sharing. Is there anything else, about your journey that you can say as much or as little as you want, but is there anything else you want to share, or like to the people listening to this? Probably at least a few thousand, if not more, listening. Is there anything you want to say?
Hello, a few thousand. Well, one thing that's really propelling me forward and
The exact opposite happened.
Coordination or like
helping me maintain the desire to
to handle
be a trail runner
if something were to happen on a bike, I would definitely just get that ranging.
and an ultra runner
Also, in love the
is that
climbing tribe.
there's not a lot of
So I'm really loving
transgender people in this sport,
Yep.
and
climb.
I feel like I already know
Little oyster.
most of them that are out and doing this sport and like have a
I like the problem
social
solving
presence
in
about it.
It's a like chill community and everyone.
So,
so I just
like, there's 1,000 different trail films, right, where they follow
like I went from
a runner or a few runners
wasn't a climber to like
training,
climbing 10
preparing, and then completing some race or FKT or something. You Google
like just so much more accessible.
transgender trail runner
Yep.
or in YouTube, and there's nobody. And
And I'm like,
currently in the U.S.,
you don't take breaks, you don't bring any water,
you know,
and
more and more states and state governments are trying to make it even more difficult
Yeah.
for
light, not.
people like me to participate
I know.
and
I brought
compete.
my handheld in the car, and then
So,
I'm just gonna go light.
I'm here to say, like,
I'm like, who needs water? I don't sweat that much.
forget that, you know?
Yeah. I love that. And I love that you are able to continue pushing the importance of that, because so then to that you said you know probably most of the people. I happen to know two friends who are trans women who are too scared to go out for runs.
Okay, see?
So what would you say to them if they're listening to this right now?
I would say I'm also terrified. Most days I'm scared to leave the house. And I think the biggest reason that I do leave the house and go for runs is to show
Yeah.
other trans women
Yeah.
that we can do it,
Okay.
and that we have no choice but to be the bravest versions of ourselves. If for no other reason than to just keep each other alive.
Yes.
We may not be able to be in the same space all the time or often. Not everybody has an out trails group near them. I mean, we're here in Salt Lake and Seattle and Denver, but if you don't have one, you have to become it. You have to manifest that for yourself and your community. And maybe that means being the first one to go out on the trail, and the other trans woman sees you or sees you on Instagram or whatever the kids are doing these days.
Yeah.
And now she feels like she's powerful enough
Yeah.
to be a runner too.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And obviously this is, deeply personal and really, courageous of you to even be sharing those messages. And as you said, keep showing up. So I appreciate you, Mackenzie, and thank you for sharing your journey with me today. Is there any last things you want to say before I...
Thank you for letting me share my journey. It really means a lot.
You are more than welcome. I'm going to try and grab the next person and let you enjoy this. The spring is sprung, I guess. And these beautiful yellow flowers. All right, I'm going to let you...
So it gets absorbed pretty quick?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back a bit, I think. Or is there anyone coming? I'm just going to see if we've got someone else coming up the hill. There's a group here. Hi. Would you be interested in sharing a little about yourself?
Sure. Do you have specific questions?
Well, what I've been asking was, can you tell me your name and a little about what led you to this moment right now? But Mackenzie said that was a very deep question.
Yeah.
So,
Vague.
if you want to, but that's why I like it, because it can be whatever you want it to be,
Sure.
It could be, I got in my car this morning and I felt like going for a run.
Yeah.
But whatever you want to share, basically, whatever you want to share about your journey, I'd love to hear it. So I'm going to hold this behind me like this.
Okay.
So you don't need to speak into it. Where you are is good.
Okay, my name's Allie. Sorry.
You're fine.
I used to trail run with my dad all the time. When I was in high school, he was my cross-country coach.
Oh, cool.
And then I ran in college. And then I kind of stopped running. Because what are you going to do without a team, you know?
Yeah, so that was more of like a missing the structure kind of thing.
Yep, I didn't know how to, you know, be accountable to my own plan. It's like there's nobody here to tell me what to do. So I didn't do anything, you know? But now that I live here, I used to live in a couple other places. It's just so easy to go on the trails. I used to live in San Diego. There's not a lot of trails that are actually close to the city. I lived in New York. And you have to take the train. So it's been nice to kind of get back to full circle, kind of.
I kind of lived in like the dream places.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a good mix of cultures there.
Yeah, it was nice to end up kind of in the middle, coast to coast. And that's where I am.
Yeah. Negotiate this section.
Am I free to go, or do you have more questions?
Well, it's up to you. I guess if you do want to share like what Outrails means to you, why this is something that you do.
This is the first time I've ever been here.
Oh, okay, all right. Why you showed up today? Okay.
Well, honestly, my friend Hannah is a super fangirl of Ryan Montgomery. And I had never heard of him, and she sent me this, and she was like, do you want to go to this so like I can meet Ryan? And I was like, I guess so. And then we never ended up going, but then...
Oh, this was a few months ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were supposed to go, I sprained my ankle, whatever. And then I was like, this could be fun. I don't like the snow, so I was like, finally the snow's gone. And, you know, I haven't had a lot of success with like women's trail running groups. I feel like I don't super relate to women when they're in a group. It just kind of gets weird. Yeah. It's like, maybe this will be a better...
Like you mean competitive?
They just like... I feel like it is a lot about like eating and like body image and like stuff like that, and I don't really relate to that very much. And I feel like I like girls, I'm friends with girls, but when they get in a group like that, I feel like they get really, really competitive about things that I don't care as much about. So I thought maybe this would be a different environment to try. So far, so good.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I'm curious, like, when you said about that with, you said you ran in college. So I came over here to the US to run in college over here. And it was so intense. Like, I couldn't believe how, like, serious everything was.
Yeah.
And so did you have that in your college culture? Like, what the kind of things you were saying about female groups, and so it kind of made you not want that, or was that you didn't have that and you were surprised when you went to groups that it was that?
Well, I was more of a lacrosse player. I ran cross country also.
Okay.
It's kind of a different dynamic.
Sure, yeah.
In that kind of sport.
Yeah.
It's like good to be bigger and like stronger. We did have quite a few people that had to leave school on the cross country team and go to rehab and deal with their problems. And I feel like I wasn't as close with the cross country team because they just are more intense.
Yeah.
They just weren't as fun. And I feel like running is for fun and not for... It's good to have goals, but it's also good to be nice to yourself.
So you wouldn't know this about me, because you're just meeting me now, but a lot of the conversations... So I mentioned I was a former professional runner, but what I'm actually known for is quitting running.
Oh.
Because of like a really disordered relationship with food, and because I hadn't had a period in 9 years, and I was the first like athlete to really talk about that publicly, and so now I'm so sensitive to it.
Sorry.
No, I just mean like whenever anyone's having that conversation, like a group of women, I like immediately have to shut it down, because I'm like, look, this is not good for any of us. Like, this is, you know, these kind of conversations are dangerous for everyone. They send people down a path. And I'm not saying I'm like, shut up right now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, you know, is this helpful for us? Is this doing our mental health any good? Like, I have to kind of ask those questions of like, why are we fixating on these numbers and these things? Because they are not what make you the runner you are. And towards the end of my running career, I hated it.
Yeah.
And it was because all I cared about was how I looked.
Yeah.
And so, exactly like you, I'm trying to find a place where I can be around people who aren't obsessed with, you know, things that are not helping them, but they're damaging them.
Yeah.
Not only their running, but their mental health and everything else.
Well, that's, I think, why would you ever sacrifice your mental health for something that you're supposed to be doing for fun? It doesn't make any sense.
Yes. No, I'm with you. So thank you for saying that, because always an important point to bring up.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, sorry if I was
No.
not sensitive.
No. I don't mean it like I get offended or anything. I just mean like I really try and steer conversations.
Yeah, I don't know what you're supposed
Away
to say
from
when
it.
someone's like, oh, I run because I love to eat. It's like, you're gonna eat either way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. No, so thank you. And we need people like that to change that, you know, culture and things like this where you do feel supported and feel, you know, welcome and just about who you are rather than what you look like or what you eat or whatever, or what we need. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Go find someone else.
Yes. I've spoken to both of you. So
Who's left? Are they all back there?
these two here. So I'm going to try and run past. I don't know if you heard him say, but I'm running a 50 mile on Saturday, so I'm really conscious I'm going to trip.
Yeah, be really careful.
So I'm taking very careful steps. All right.
Right throughout the summer.
Can I come through again to steal you in a second? Sorry, finish what you were saying. You're done.
They're all about a month apart.
Hi, will you share a little bit about you and whatever you want to share of your journey to this, to be here right now?
To today?
Yeah, however you take that. You could say, I jumped in my car an hour ago and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for a trail run, or you could tell me whatever you want to say.
Yeah, so
Oh, and your
Jason
name
Olsen.
as well. Jesse?
Jason Olsen.
Jason?
Yep. I grew up in Atlanta, moved out to Utah to go to school to attend BYU.
Yep.
Battery life is
Was in for culture shock.
28 hours.
But I swore I'd never live in Utah, but
that last
fell in love with the outdoors. Someone took me to Lake Powell. And then after that, it was all
To
over.
Lake Powell.
Yeah, it's on
I'm
the
not from here, so I don't know. What is that?
beautiful reservoir
Okay.
on the Utah-Arizona border where they dammed, unfortunately, the most beautiful part of the Grand Canyon
Oh, okay.
years ago. But it's like it's the craziest place on earth. I love it. So,
Okay.
but started to ski, and then that's what kept me here.
Yeah, she will be soon.
And then
She's
during COVID,
just ramping up her
to deal with the
now.
kind of monotony and the isolation of the
But yeah,
shutdowns,
she's good now.
I live near Mount
she's up to
Olympus, and
like
so I
35.
started hiking.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I think my second time up there
And then
was like, this is too slow to
probably
walk,
saw
so I
we just
wanted to
had,
ran downhill.
like quad rock.
And then from there, I just
Yeah.
fell in love with trail
So
running.
that was just literally a spur of the moment
Yeah.
decision.
And then I do it almost every day now.
Okay.
And
So have you already done it today?
I did a little bit today.
Okay.
And then I'm obviously here, but
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have all this outdoors. You know, I think the thing that I realized was I regretted living in Utah for so many years and never once thinking that might be a fun thing to pick up. I'd see people running and I'd always kind of laugh because I was never a runner and I always thought, where are you all running from?
I always
I'm
love
here.
hearing those comments.
I know. And now I get it though now because I'm like, I can't live without it. Like, it's my meditation. And so I've been trying to explore a lot of different trails, but this year my goal has been to get into some races. I've done a few halves.
When you say get into some races, you're talking about ones you have to qualify for?
No, not. I would like to.
100%.
I've done 4 halves
Okay.
on trail,
Yeah.
but I want to push for a full marathon.
Okay.
If I
And eventually I would like to try and go a little bit further, do a 30 or a 50 miler.
Okay.
But I'm kind of at that point where I don't know what I don't know.
I think this year's going to be a blowout.
And so, trying to learn as much as I can so I don't fall flat on my face.
Yeah. You mean literally or like
Both
just...
figuratively and literally. Because there's a lot to take into consideration when you're putting your body through that.
Oh yeah.
I think people are going to rage. And then
we're also in like a really perfect place to train, especially being at altitude.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I follow Ryan on Instagram, and I saw he's been posting about this for a couple months, and I've been trying to get out.
I'm going to peak at 120.
And so today was the first time I could make it. So
I love that.
yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of people that are here for the first time.
Are there? Yeah.
Okay.
It's great to. The only thing that's a little lonely about running is all my friends are skiers. No one's a runner. So I'm always running solo, but it's nice to run with other people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Mackenzie, that speaks to what you were just saying about like Ryan. So many people have mentioned about like seeing Ryan's stuff on social media. Like Ryan is that person, right, that shows you there's a place for you in the trails. There are people you can, you know, connect with, resonate with, be around on the trails. And that's why most people are here today.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
The best ability is availability.
Yeah.
So to have someone like Ryan be like, here, come run with us. We're safe.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. Is there anything else you want to share about your journey or otherwise? Whoa, this is going to get a bit more risky.
Yeah, I just think what Ryan's doing is really great to be a visible kind of, you know, personality in the community that, you know, that's part of what kept me in Utah is I work with a group called Equality Utah to help advance equal rights for the community. And
amazing.
If any place needs more good role models is Utah.
Yes. Well, I live in Missouri, so we could use some of those too.
Yeah, you guys have it even worse, I think.
Gosh. Such a beautiful view. So pretty. Look at that. So will you describe to me what we're looking at right now?
Yeah, so we're, 8,000 feet probably looking over the Salt Lake Valley, which you can probably see 20, 30 miles out to the other side of the Great Salt Lake. And it's a surprisingly crystal clear day, which is even better. And of course, after this winter, everything is green. It almost looks like we're in Hawaii.
Yeah, it does.
For now.
Yeah.
Give it a month, it'll be dried up.
It'll be dried up? Oh, is it only green for a little while?
No, yeah, just for a little bit. So.
Okay. I think the first time I came to Utah was a year ago. I was supposed to do this race I'm doing on Saturday. My kids gave me a stomach flu a few days before. So April is my one experience of Utah. So.
And that's a hit or miss.
Actually, that's not true. I came to Ryan's house a few months ago. I was lying. Other than that, so January and April, so I'll see you summer one day.
Yeah. We do have beautiful summers.
Yeah.
So.
It's amazing.
What's your race on Saturday?
Bryce Canyon 50 mile.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm going straight to 50, so.
How was it? Straight to 50 from what?
From marathon.
That's kind of the general.
Yeah. Well, again, I was supposed to do the 50K last year, and then I signed up. So I signed up for 4 50Ks. Each time my kids have sabotaged it, or I fell really badly on the trails and shredded myself. So it could have got infected. And so by the time I'd done 4, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to jump up because this is getting ridiculous. So, yeah, so Ryan's going to be picking me up off the floor the last 10 miles. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, you might see a video of him carrying me along the trail.
It's going to be pretty down in Bryce.
And I've never been there either. So last year I literally was here. I was in Mapleton, staying with a friend, and I just had to stay there. So I was literally in Utah. I just couldn't get to the race. So this year, hopefully, we'll change that. All right. I'm going to grab someone else. I'm going to take in this view for a second.
I don't think I've ever been able to see all the way to the Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been way too smoggy.
And if you could stand
you
back there, and we're gonna face that.
Yeah, you can
Pass
see
that
the
little
far
back, one
end
step
of
back,
the
one step
lake.
back.
Almost to window.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing.
So this is about as clear as it gets?
This is as clear as I've ever seen it.
Okay.
Clear? What do you mean? Oh, like air-wise?
The air-wise, yeah. Wait, did we lose Sierra?
Are we still missing something?
We're missing Sierra.
Where's Sierra? Oh, I was looking at that. Okay.
So
Photo time. Okay, everyone get around McKay.
Did they tell you? We have to take one with the hours later too.
I've had this for 2
Okay,
years.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because we always do this.
We always do this.
Good luck Saturday. That's exciting.
thank you. Yeah.
This way.
You gotta go to Bryce.
Well, it's changed quite a bit.
I don't. Should I go see it the day before?
Right?
Or should I
You should-
leave it?
It's Bryce is small enough.
think I need
Just drive through and spend an hour or two there.
Okay.
You good?
Oh, yeah, hang on.
Rocks behind me?
I'm gonna sit down.
Yeah, maybe I should do that and come in more.
Yep, it's in.
Okay.
How we doing?
It's amazing. You did that before, I guess, didn't you?
We have
You were not in
practice.
the yes.
Yes.
Okay, smile.
Okay, just take a bunch of them.
Okay. Everybody smile.
I think can you also do vertical too?
These ideas. I only get the dog from behind. Is that a problem?
Luna, look at the camera.
She's like, no.
She's like, I like side shots.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Thank you.
One is good. Check them. Otherwise,
So you said so. I like. I'm gonna drive through it, but I shouldn't go like get out and look at it before.
It's kind of a smaller park where you drive to different parking lots that have lookouts. You can do hikes within it, but if you're with what you'll be doing, probably I don't know if
I'll get to see most of it.
But Bryce is one of the things if you want to just park and go to the lookout. There's 3 parking lots that have the lookouts to different areas, and you can see the whole like majesty of the park because it's just like stunning.
Okay.
Like it'd be really cool to go down and hike amongst the because it's like similar like Goblin Valley where these little red rock goblins that go up hundreds of feet.
Yeah.
But it's not a very interactive park like Zion where you can go up in arrows for miles and miles.
Okay.
Like it's much more contained. But all around Bryce is still the park.
Okay.
It's just famous for this one area that's really, really pretty with the lookout.
Okay. Okay.
from over here.
But I'm sure your race is going to take you around State Park. Probably not in the park, but around
Yeah. Okay.
it. Tropical, I think, is the city there.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're staying in Panguitch the night before, so yeah. If you know what that is.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. We're driving down tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But yeah. Oh, he's
That's how they design speed, though. Why take a switchback when you can go straight up? Yeah. That's the one thing I was grateful about with Quadrock. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of climbing, but at least it's on the trail. Unlike Speedgoat, which is like off the trail. I don't know how to get away.
Curious, we just went up 1,200 feet, which is
Snaps to that.
Only another 1,000.
yeah.
I want you to share what you shared with Rain and I before.
For sure.
Before we started, if you're comfortable sharing that.
Yeah.
But so give me your name and that story, and then I want to hear whatever else you want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it gonna pick it up if we're running?
Whatever you want to do. If we want to walk, I don't. Yeah, I'm good with whatever.
I don't know, whatever would be easier here.
Just
Well,
don't
it's a
fall,
together.
please.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't want to do.
Okay, we'll walk.
Don't know if I can carry someone.
We
I
have
am
12
weak.
people. It'd be a team effort.
I'm fragile.
I need a picture before we go down.
You better carry me on Saturday if I can't
I
go
will
on.
drag you.
Okay.
You're taking a picture.
I am because
It's beautiful.
Yeah, in photos, kind of, I can't not.
No? Fair enough. All right, so tell me your name and, yeah, the story of how you... Well, that is... What I've been asking people is how you got to this moment.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
So that kind of is that. So
It's kind of long.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my name's Sierra. Do you do last names?
No. Well, unless you want to share your last name. It's up to you. No one else has, if that gives you context.
So Sierra and she, her pronouns. And I started running a couple months back, kind of on accident. I'm unemployed, and I needed something to make myself feel productive. And I'm holding out on a gym membership, so I was using the little apartment complex gym and doing the treadmill. Someone told me that's so much harder than running outside.
Wait, why did you start on the treadmill?
Because I was just using the hotel gym, apartment complex gym as my place for exercise. So I'd warm up on the treadmill without the intention of getting into running, and then do a strength exercise.
Right.
And my friend was like, "Oh, that's awful. Treadmill running's awful."
It is, yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, well, I don't know. It's really easy for me to get a good workout in 10 minutes on a treadmill, so get completely warmed up real quick." And then I was away from my apartment complex for a while and tried running outside and just wanted to run long enough to build up as much sweat as I do on the treadmill. And I was only doing 1 mile warm up on the treadmill and then doing my workout. I ran 1 mile and I hadn't even started sweating outside. And I was like, what? And I got up to 3 and I still wasn't sweating as much as I do on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, this is completely different. And I'm also kind of entertained because I just ran almost 4 miles. And I feel fine. So I started running outside more because of that. And turns out it's kind of in my genes.
Yeah.
So
You knew this before.
have I done?
You knew that it was in your genes before, so
I did.
you haven't
Yeah.
you haven't added that part yet, so
Yes, I knew it was in my genes, but a big game changer was, like, for me. I mean, I'm 28 years old, and I just found out I needed an inhaler for cardio. And I learned that from hiking, actually. I learned that going uphill, everyone was so confused. I'm so fit, but when I hike uphill, even though I hike all the time, it would take a lot longer than most people.
Yep.
I'd stop and wait until I felt better before I kept going, and finally somehow connected that to my lungs. And the inhaler was magic, made hiking so much better. And then I used it for running and was like, oh, this doesn't leave me feeling sick for 12 hours after I run.
wow.
So I started running outside more and just kind of got curious about how much I could run. And both being unemployed and coming off of a long-term relationship breakup of 5 years, running was like really great for my mental health. But if the only thing I did in the day was go for a run, felt pretty productive.
Yeah.
And so there was one day, 2 separate times actually, where I learned I could run 10 miles on accident.
Wait. So this is a few months ago you were starting at 0?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was October.
Okay.
October is when I started running outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite the jump.
And I think November is when I learned I could accidentally run 10 miles and I should probably get some running shoes.
Wait, what were you running before that?
My regular sneakers, they don't have anything on the bottom anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, kept running, was enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it just felt pretty natural now that I have my inhaler.
Yep.
But I was holding back on telling my father because he's been running for about 47 years.
Yep.
And it's a huge part of his identity.
Like when you were growing up, you would go to his races and stuff?
Yes, or get dragged along. There was actually this time I was maybe in first grade. Mm-hmm. My older sister was always the runner.
Yeah.
And she would train with him. And so she was training for this 5-mile race in Moab.
Mm-hmm.
And then she failed a spelling test. The day before they were supposed to leave, and he dragged me on the run.
Ah.
Oh, and so
Because she was too upset?
No, because he was punishing her for failing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
one of those. Discipline. So, this is where I got to take a picture.
Okay, yep, take a picture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a picture too, actually. This is going to pause the recording, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep, I'm good if you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my grand idea was I want to redo that race with my dad. I want to convince him to run it and tell him I can come camping or hiking with you all while you run the race that you used to do every year. We can make a weekend out of it because I'm still job searching and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do it that weekend, which I was so bummed because when I did do that race in first grade, I needed an inhaler. Nobody knew. And so I'm gone because I can't breathe. It was a miserable time. And there's forever a picture from the Moab Times. Their picture for that race is my dad holding my hand as we crossed through the finish line. I'm just bawling. So I was ready to redeem myself with the Moab 5K, the Moab 5-mile race.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. And unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but the next race he was running was the Salt Lake Half Marathon. I was like, ooh, my next opportunity to surprise him by just showing up at a finish line is that race. I was really back and forth on it. And I was talking to his mother and my grandmother, and she was like, Sierra, just sign up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. It was kind of last minute, so a little bit of an expensive surprise. And I hadn't run that far and didn't really have a lot of desire to run that far yet.
Okay.
But I was like, you know what, Grandma said to do it. So I signed up. And then I just made sure somehow no one told my dad I'd been running.
Yep.
And I got really nervous about 3 minutes before the start of the race. Tried to text his girlfriend he was running with, figure out where they were, and it didn't work, so I just started from the back, worked my way up.
Oh, so you didn't see him before the start?
No, that was 3 minutes before the start, and I just started from the back, worked my way up, and ran into them.
Wow, that's so cool. It makes it even better.
Yeah, and I stood next to him and tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned and looked at me and goes, hey, Dad, I've been meaning to ask you this for a while, but want to go for a run? He was so shook. He got about 3 miles in, and he goes, okay, I think I'm coming down from my shock. Just know, my heart is so full right now.
Oh.
And this is the best surprise ever.
Oh. That's so sweet. Thank you for sharing that, Sierra.
Yeah.
And so how, coming to Out Trails, how did that factor into this?
Yeah. Okay, so I needed running shoes, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. And I went to the wrong store. My name's Sierra, so I'm partial to Sierra store. Turns out they don't have regular running shoes, but they had my favorite color shoes.
Always important.
One of my favorite brands.
Yep.
Half off.
Yep.
And so I said, I guess I'm going trail running today. And so I love hiking, so it kind of fits. But at the same time, I have a hard enough time not falling off the mountain with how much I look around while I'm hiking.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe we should switch, because I think it's easier for me to hold it backwards than it is that way. There we go.
For sure.
Then I can look and you can look. And you can
just watch out for snakes on this one. Did you see the big one earlier?
No, I didn't.
It wasn't a rattlesnake, but it was huge.
Oh.
So.
I hope we're on the right trail, because I don't see anyone.
Yeah. And I went to a friend's, it was like a backyard performance. They did a whole performance on their back porch. Amazing artist. And someone there, it's a very queer space. Someone there was like, oh, you've gone into running?
Wait, did you say queer space or clear space?
Queer.
Queer space.
Yeah. That's probably the most queer folks I know in Salt Lake.
Yep.
Is connected to that friend group.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, you've gotten into running? You gotta come run a trail run with us sometime with Out Trails. They just get kicked off in Salt Lake.
Right.
And this was, late October.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do November. I was in Missouri. So December, I was like, all right, I gotta go. Someone told me I should. And they weren't even here. There was 3 people here. And we did this trail at 5:30 in December, so it's dark. It had just snowed multiple feet that week. So we're going through a ton of snow, wearing micro spikes, going up a mountain. And I was like, wow, this is a type 2 type of fun group. But I think that was pretty exceptional to the winter team.
Yeah.
But they were also just so easy to meet and connect with. Mm-hmm. And so even though it was 100% type 2 fun of like, ooh, do I really want to do that? I don't know. That sounds hard, that sounds scary, and then you do it, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so good. I'm so glad I came. The group and the people made it really easy to come back to. Once the weather was, I came back the next time I was 3.
Yeah, now it's kind of perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is like amazing weather.
Right, on the wildflowers.
Yes, it's beautiful. Yeah, so describe Sierra. Don't look too much youthful, but what do you see right now for anyone listening to this?
Oh, just vibrant greens, the type of greens that come out like after the start of spring.
Yep.
And these huge golden yellow wildflowers that are common in this area. And some lavender and purple ones. And then of course a trail. We're going down a mountain.
Yep.
So rocks, because you gotta watch that or you're gonna fall in place.
Yep.
And wispy clouds and blue skies.
Yes, that's pretty. Thank you. Pretty good description of what we're seeing. And is there anything else you want to share to people listening?
Sure. When I finally did get around to buying actual running shoes, I probably shouldn't talk about brands. When I went to the specific store that I thought would be cheaper than other ones, but still a good shoe,
Okay.
it was not cheaper. And I walk in and the salesman goes, so what are you looking for? I say running shoes, women's running shoes. And he directs me that way, and I start looking at the options and trying some on, asked to try some on. And I've been there for about 20 minutes, and I found a pair that I like quite a bit. And he goes, so is this for real running? And I'm like, so is the alternative fake running?
Yeah. Okay.
So I've embodied the title of being a fake runner, even though I just did my first.
Wait, did you buy shoes from that guy?
Surprised, I like them so much. I know, I couldn't believe I bought them still. But I did ask. I was like, what do you mean by that? You mean fake running? You know, some people want some high quality running shoes just to walk into the grocery store. I was like, okay. No, actually I knew what I was looking for. So every time I run by that store, because it's right next to my apartment complex, I just shake my head, because I'm the fake runner doing 10, 13 miles.
No, I mean, that's actually like a real pet peeve of mine. My community knows this. Like, so Ryan mentioned like I'm a former elite athlete, but like, so people often think that I'd be the other way. But I actually like really love the kind of idea of you're a runner, like period. Yeah. And the amount of times I've had people be too intimidated, like, oh, I can't run with you, I'm too, you're beginner, I'm too slow, but it just doesn't need to be that way, because, the pace doesn't matter, we're all covering the same distance, and, I really struggle with when people do like what they're. I mean, maybe he was being.
No, I did not appreciate how it came off. It was very condescending.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm sorry you had that experience, and hopefully that's the last time you have that kind of experience in a running store. But
yeah, I hope so. Maybe I look more like a runner now.
You look like a runner from the first day, in my opinion. But
I thought so.
Yeah. It's not okay, especially from a running store, because that's a place that has the potential for someone like you going in there if you get a first pair of shoes to be like, oh, I guess this is not for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not okay. But, I guess, I don't know, I don't really have an explanation for him. But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, hopefully anybody else who gets asked if they're a fake runner, keep running.
Yeah, we should come up with a term for that. Like, I don't know. It's,
We can talk about.
Yeah. There's got to be a better comeback for that. Yeah.
I thought mine was pretty good.
Fake is good, yeah. I don't know. But thank you for sharing, Sierra, and appreciate you. And look forward to hearing when you tell me someday when I come back that you're onto 100 milers.
Oh, yeah?
If you hang out with Ryan too long, that might be what you see as a normal thing to do.
So far all the miles have been a surprise, so you never know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, I know some friends now who do like 100 milers, and they're like, I've been thinking about a 250, and I'm like, what? Like, I thought 100 was like, unless you're like, Courtney Walter or Camille Herron, I thought 100 was like, I will let you talk if you. She's seen someone she knows, so I'm gonna continue on. Oh, I haven't talked to you yet.
Hello.
Hi. Will you share? Are you up for sharing a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
So tell me your name, and I thought you wanted to talk to that person, so I'll let you pass on.
And you're totally good.
Okay, all right. So, tell me your name and whatever you want to share about your running journey to this moment.
Okay. My name is Dana, and I've kind of run pretty passively since, I guess, maybe 8 years ago.
Okay. What do you mean by passively?
Just not really ever following a training plan, not running more than 3 miles, just really casually.
And we're quite happy doing that.
Yeah, and I was pretty happy doing that. But this past winter, I decided to train for a half marathon, but not for any particular race.
Okay.
Just for myself.
So not to do a race, just to do 13.1 yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yep.
So I, before that point, the furthest I had run continuously was 4 miles. And I'm not really a winter person, so I wanted something to keep me busy this past winter. And so I trained for that half marathon for myself, and I was able to complete it, which was my goal. No time or anything. And I was really proud of myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, like I said, I'd only run 4 miles before, and it really showed me that I don't need any external motivation, like a date on a calendar or me having paid money for a race, to be able to stick to that training plan and be disciplined enough.
I'm curious,
to complete it.
Why was it that time that you felt you had to prove that to yourself when you'd been doing that kind of for the last few years? What changed to make you feel like you needed to prove that point to yourself?
I don't think I really felt like I needed to prove that to myself.
Okay.
But that was an unexpected feeling I had when I had completed it.
Yeah.
Because I think I had known that I'm a pretty, self-motivated or disciplined person.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily need that external motivation. But I don't know, I was just really proud of myself.
Yeah, so you should be. Yeah. I love that. And I love that you are bulking the traditional sense of things. And actually, so I have a book coming out in August called Becoming a Sustainable Runner.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a piece of it that's to do with planet. There's a piece that's to do with community, kind of doing things like this, how important that is. But the first third is about running, long-term sustainable running, as in long-lasting, do it for as long as you want to do it. Yeah. And the kind of point that my co-author and I are making is that people think the only reason to run, or get sucked into thinking the only reason to run, is to do a race and to push yourself in that situation, when actually it doesn't have to be about that. There's so much more to it, and in some ways doing that is taking so much away from you, because you're just external validation chasing all the time.
Right. And maybe this is not quite what you meant, but in the past I had dealt with some lower leg injuries, and so part of me thought that road running for 13 miles was just out of the question. Was that was a guaranteed way to injure myself.
Yeah.
But I obviously, following a real training plan, that was not the case. And perhaps maybe that's part of what it means to me to be a sustainable runner, is running in a way that is sustainable for your body too.
Yes, exactly. Yes, 100%. That's what I meant. And that was actually one of the points we make, is that there's so many people who start running, they get so excited about it because it feels good,
Yeah.
and then they do, they maybe read somewhat of a loose plan and do, I'm going to do it says this thing says I should run every other day, but I feel so good today, I'm going to do an extra day. And then they end up doing too much too quick, getting an injury to where they go to a doctor who says, yeah, you're not made for this. This is not for you. And they say, oh, okay, I'll try something else. So whereas like had they, either had a plan or, considered their body a little bit of what a drastic change it was, even if it didn't feel like it one at times, then they would have realized that it's not that they're not made for this, but they just went a bit too quick, too fast, and that's okay to make those mistakes.
Right, and I see that, like, for that half marathon day that I chose, I had asked my partner to run part of it with me, and it was a little bit demoralizing because he was able to run 7 or 8 miles with no training. Yes. And so sometimes that would like reinforce the idea in my head of why can other people do this and not me? But it's really just that everyone's different. Yeah. And everyone needs different things. And I know that I need more rest than perhaps my partner. Yep. And I try to really advocate for myself. Yes. And honor that. Yep. So that I can run more or longer in whatever capacity I want.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you've been to these runs before?
Yes, this is my 3rd one.
Okay. And what is it that makes you keep coming back? Other than Ryan is one of the best humans on the planet.
Well, actually, this is my first time meeting Ryan.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's meeting up with a community that I never really had before. Yep. This is sort of a new part of myself that I'm exploring. And
like, you mean group running?
The queerness.
Okay, yep.
And I suppose...
but kind of spread out.
And the group running too, which can be a little intimidating. Yeah. Because I'm not very fast, and I know that. Yeah. But I'm okay with that. Yeah. I just don't ever want to feel like I'm holding other people back or being left behind. But these group runs have felt very inclusive of all paces and abilities. Yeah. So that is a nice aspect of the group running.
Yeah, I love that, and so important. And I was just talking to Sierra about that before, that because I come from an elite background, people think that they're always like paranoid about running with me, that they're too slow, whatever, blah blah. But to me, as soon as you go for a run, you're a runner. Like, that's it. Period. To me, it doesn't matter like how fast you go, how slow you go, how many miles you go, whatever. Like, I just don't buy into that. So thank you for sharing that, because that's important. Hi.
Hey, how's it going, Tina?
Good. How's it going for you?
Great.
How far down do we have, just so I know when to start wrapping up?
Oh, we're like almost there.
Oh, okay. All right. I want to back off and talk for a second. Just coming to the end of this run. We've obviously got to talk to a lot of different people. I want to thank you for joining today, and really appreciate all the stories and journeys we got to hear from this amazing group of people. So if you are in one of those cities, be sure to go join one of these meetups. Ryan's handle is ultra.ryan, and you can obviously, I think he said OutTrails was out_trails, so go check that out. And I'll see you on Wednesday for Real Episode with Sarah Crouch. There's a 15-minute just funny conversations between two friends about random topics that are mostly not related to running. And you can also check out our regular podcast episode on Friday. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.